We are construction and engineering specialists. We have the best work at the construction bar, from the tallest buildings in the world, the largest infrastructure projects. It's a really unique area of the law to get into, and Keating is well placed as being the best of what we do.
We have a really cool combination of serious black letter law that's incredibly intellectually challenging and interesting, endlessly different every day, the best clients, the most fun clients, and really, really interesting work to do.
The key thing for me that sets us apart is we are a specialist set, but behind that there are a number of things that make that particularly special. And I think one of the things is the fact that you will be working with a network of people who do similar things to you, who work in a similar area of law, creates a really collegiate atmosphere. It is a very close-knit community.
What's great about a place like Keating is that the nature of the projects we get involved in are very often so large that you have to be involved in very significant teams, and that will be teams both of clients and all the witnesses you talk to, all of the experts that you get involved with, your solicitor clients who are also helping you on the project, but also within Chambers itself. So you might work with a very senior silk and a junior silk and a senior junior like me, and then more junior juniors. You might have a team of 5 or 6 barristers working on your case on the team, which means that you are always supported and you feel part of a team working towards your obviously objective, which is to win the case for your client. So it means that although yes, you do spend significant amounts of time sitting on your own, trying to get through the work, the reality is that you are part of a team, part of a community, and that makes it feel less isolating and frankly less scary sometimes when we're dealing with some of the biggest and best projects in the world.
When you join a specialist set, you start to feel like you can add value at an earlier stage. You start to feel like more of an expert in your discipline. You start to learn the relevant legal principles, notice the same sorts of facts occurring, and start to be able to provide much more helpful, robust advice from an early stage. And I think that really helps you settle into the job, and feel like you're contributing from a much earlier stage than you might do if you were juggling lots of different kinds of areas or disciplines at the same time.
What I enjoy most about my practice is the incredibly varied nature of the work that we get. I think every set of instructions offers a new opportunity to learn about a new subject matter, and this would usually involve applying, highly legal principles, highly technical legal principles to a complex set of facts. And in doing so, you're learning about these subject matters from very interesting clients who are experts in their fields. So that makes every day different, and therefore it makes the work exciting, which I think is quite rare at the commercial bar.
Once you become a new tenant, everybody is allocated a couple of mentors, one of whom will be a junior and one of whom will be a silk, who can again share their experience and their knowledge of how to work in chambers, how to build your practice, how to deal with the demands of being self-employed, and how to help you decide how to shape and how to build your practice going forward. Obviously, the clerks are also very, very instrumental in that. They're used to helping juniors build their practice. They're used to helping you work out what you want to do and how you want to develop your practice. So I think what you get through coming to Keating is you may be a self-employed practitioner, but you get a huge range of support that goes around that.
So we have an open door, not policy, but an open door culture here in Chambers, and what that means is that everyone is encouraged to keep their doors open, and that's what makes Chambers a really collegiate environment.
You get involved in very complicated disputes, things you've never seen before, things we don't really know what the answer is when it lands on your desk, but there are lots of very experienced, very clever people here who will generally have their doors open, and I think everyone almost from day one feels very comfortable knocking on their door, walking straight in, and asking a question, and that generally makes people feel a hell of a lot better. So I think that's a very nice thing about working in Chambers.
if I was to advise, first year tenant, is just don't forget you have that same level of support available to you. So, make use of that. I think you learn, I'm still learning in my second year of practice. And when I speak to Silks in Chambers, or 20, 25 years in, they're still learning something new every day. So don't forget, don't try, you're not on your own. Despite the increased level of responsibility, I think you have to remember that the support in Chambers is still there, and, make the most of it.
Okay, so money, the thing that is never spoken about when you're applying for pupillage, but pretty much the only thing you know is what your pupillage award is going to be, and you don't know how much you're going to earn and when you're going to earn it. It obviously depends on the kind of chambers you're applying to, and money you'll earn varies greatly across the different sectors of the bar. In a chambers like this, our junior tenants in their first and second year are all comfortably earning more than 6 figures.
The highlight of my pupillage experience, apart from the tenancy decision, was actually probably the first time I realised that a piece of work I'd done was going to be relied upon by my supervisor in a live case. It sounds quite a small thing, but the confidence boost that you get from realising that you've done a bit of work which is actually good enough to be used in practice is enormous. And it was a small taste of what life at the bar would actually be like, and it was a real light bulb moment for me. So that was my highlight. My work life as a pupil has been actually quite consistent throughout the year. On the whole, it's a 9 to 6 day. Obviously, that fluctuates a bit as, for example, assessments loom, or as there's a particular deadline which requires more work. But one thing which has been consistent is always that if 6 o'clock comes around, my supervisor has always told me to leave at that point. Whether I've worked beyond that or on a weekend, for example, has always been my own choice. And obviously, an important part of the bar is that you take responsibility for your practice, and so when assessment comes around, then it makes sense to do a bit of extra work. But 9 to 6 is a fairly accurate description of what my year has been like.
Well, it goes through peaks and troughs. So sometimes the work-life balance is great. You've got just the right amount of work. You might have 6 or 7 hours of work a day, and all the deadlines are very easy. Nobody puts you under pressure. But then you might be involved in a trial which requires you to spend far more time in preparation than you might ideally like to. You might find that you're doing 12, 15-hour days in the lead up to a trial, preparing cross-examination. So in terms of general work-life balance, it ebbs and flows. Within Chambers, you definitely do have a very strong team that is behind you, who is trying to do everything they can to give you that space, should you need it, to take off some of the pressure. So, frankly, you couldn't be better supported than at Keating Chambers.
Well, I have thought quite a bit about what I enjoy the most, and it's hard to pick one thing. So that's a cheerful dilemma to have if you've been doing a job for 25 years. I think that the thing I like the most about construction is the clients, because they are an enormous amount of fun. I get to hang out with people that actually build real projects and talk to engineers all the time, and they are very, very practical, down-to-earth people. They are not really interested in hearing about a House of Lords decision from 1850. What they want to know is, what should I do today to get my project built? I'm not bored. I'm never bored.
I never had a construction and engineering background, so I did a history degree before then going on to a sort of business role, and then finding myself my way to the bar in 2005. But I just love construction and engineering cases. I didn't realise how enjoyable it would be to start to understand how buildings are built and how structures sort of stand up. And every time you get an interesting case, you get to learn about how it's designed, how it's built, how it's managed, the problems that there are. You learn the story of these amazing projects from cradle to grave, hopefully not to grave very often, but usually they've gone wrong, and that's ultimately why we're involved. And I find that absolutely fascinating. Every single new set of papers that I open, even if underlying it there may be some common legal issues. Who caused delay? Why did something cost more? Why did something fall down? The story of every single individual project is unique, and that is what excites me every single time I get a new set of instructions.
If I had to summarise Keating in 3 words, I would choose supportive, rigorous, and thriving.
Challenging, rewarding, and fun.
If I could summarise Keating in 3 words, it would be collegiate, modern, and obviously hardworking.
If I had to summarize Keating in 3 words, I would say outstanding, fulfilling, and welcoming.
I'm going to say we're the best.